we're going to have just a few general like Zoom rules, and I'm going to be contacting everybody who wasn't able to be here today. But the first thing is like, you don't have to today if you're like in your pajamas or something, but from now on I want to be able to see your face, because it's really awkward to like talk to like a text or to like a profile picture. And then when you come on, at least at first, everybody's going to be muted, and then if we are having a group discussion or whatever, I can unmute everybody, or you can unmute yourself. And so I have some notes here. This is like not my first time using Zoom, at least, but it's my first time ever talking to students on it, so it's kind of weird. So a few different things on how to use Zoom. So if you're muted, then you can push the space bar to unmute yourself. Like if you have something to say, you can raise your hand. If I'm talking or presenting something and you have a question, you can type in the chat box. So anytime you have a question or comment, if it's relevant to what I'm saying, then you can type it in there. And this is just new for all of us, to be honest. Like, I'm sitting on a trampoline in my office right now because my desk isn't set up yet, and my face is super white, and my puppy's crying in the next room, and I'm sure you guys have stuff going on at home as well. But the whole point is being able to connect in some kind of way and still be providing some kind of education. So a little bit about how the school wants us to do things is we can only have a max of 40, like 20-minute lessons a week. Now that is the lesson, but it's also all the work that requires you, like that you do for homework or that you turn in for the lesson. And so the way that I'm going to combat that is I'm going to do a 20-minute Zoom call every single week, where people are on together and where I can see all faces and talk to you. But also that next part of the 20 minutes, I want you guys to be able to create something. And now I know that you know that that means like that's not a lot of time with art to actually make something, and 20 minutes is pretty hard. And so we're going to shift a little bit more to creative problem solving and that kind of thing. If you ever create something outside of what is required from you for however long we're out of school, then of course email it to me, text to me, upload it to or remind it to me, upload it to Artsonia, whatever, so I can see it. I would love for you to be able to create more, but that's all I'm going to require of you, and that's all I'm allowed to require of you. So I'm going to try to answer a bunch of questions that I've been getting from pre-P, but also from my general art classes. So number one, about the project, any projects that we were working on before we let out of school, forget about it. Like, it doesn't really matter right now because I wasn't really able to forewarn everybody to get things. And so we can't really pick that up. My assumption is that everybody, the only thing you have at home is a paper and a pencil and a Chromebook. So I'm working off that assumption, but if you ever want to use any other art materials, you're definitely able to. Any sketches, like for pre-P, you don't have to do those anymore. If you want to do a few of them and you're missing like a former sketch, or if you just want some bonus points, I'll take up to 1 for bonus points. And if you have any former sketches to make up, I'll put those in for that, because I thought, like, honestly, we as teachers weren't really aware of what we were going to be doing until yesterday either. And so I was working off an old assumption, so I can still give you bonus points if you already did your sketch. The structure of how I'm going to work this class is going to be every single Tuesday, I'm going to hold a live Zoom call. If you can't make it, I will do a recording, but try to be on here live because it's really awkward to just talk to yourself or one person. But what I'm going to do is the first 10 minutes of the call, I am going to take whatever work you guys have been making and put it on a slide, and we're going to talk about what you're making, because in art, one of the things I really love, especially pre-P art, is we get to communicate and collaborate and see what other people are doing in response to whatever prompt or whatever assignment. And so I still want to maintain that, and I still want to hear from you and not talk at you for 20 minutes every week. Then I'm going to move into whatever your next thing is, whatever your next assignment is. And then I'm going to leave a little bit for Q&A or just to chat. And so there'll be about 20 minutes, but the Q&A I'll keep on so it'll be from 10 to 10:30 every Tuesday. And so the Q&A I'll keep on until like 10:28 because I have another class at 10:30. And so that's kind of how I'm going to work it. And so an example of that is if your AMI work is due on Friday, which it is, I'm going to address that in a minute. But if your AMI work is due on Friday, then I'm going to take those images and I'm going to put them on a slide, and we're going to talk about them, and we're going to see what each other are making the next Tuesday, if that makes sense. Okay, so how will we turn work in? As pre-AP, you're going to turn work in on Arsonia. It just makes it streamlined. We've already been doing that. It allows me to still ask you artist statement questions. You're still going to be required to answer those. For every assignment I give you, you're going to have a place to upload it. So this one I called Surrealism. If you're done with your project, you can go ahead and upload it there. But if you aren't, that's where you will upload it. I unlocked Arsonia to where you don't have to have a pin. You just have to have the class code, and any class code I emailed everybody one, so you should have it. And if you ever are struggling to do that, definitely email me. But the reason that I think it's so important to upload to that place is because if I have some students emailing me their project and some students wanting me their project and some students are Arsonia-ing their project, then it's really hard for me to keep up with all of that. And so I want to just streamline it, keep it all in one place. It's really easy, and then you still have that portfolio. How can you communicate with me? So I have 3 pets at home. My husband is working from home and at work. Like, people are knocking on my door and delivering things. Like, it's crazy working from home. I'm sure it's crazy learning from home. And so because of that, it's important to me to keep like a work-life balance a little bit. Like, I go eat at my kitchen table, and like whenever it's actual meal time, because this is an office space, and I clock out at a certain time. And so between the Monday through Friday, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., I'm yours. You can email me. You can Remind 101 me. I'm going to set up a Flipgrid, which is basically a way of videoing like what your progress is on your work. But those are a few different ways to contact me. Just realize you can contact me outside of those hours, no problem. But just realize, like, if it's outside of the Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. hours, then I might not get back to you as quickly, or I might not get back to you until those hours roll back around. Because I'm going to try to kind of keep that separate. Okay, so about your AMI assignment, it's kind of confusing because we didn't really have time to talk to you guys about that much. And so it's just a surrealism assignment. There's not a whole lot of guidelines for you guys because you're pre-AP and you're awesome. But I like, essentially that's going to be due on Friday because it's the first week. If you don't get it in by Friday, it's not a big deal, but really try to get that in by Friday so that way we can discuss it on next Tuesday. And yeah, like, the whole point of that is to just create something that's dreamlike in whatever format that you want and use more than one medium. So everybody at their home probably has a pencil and a pen. So those are 2 really easy ways. But if you want to incorporate collage, or if you want to incorporate paint, or whatever you want to incorporate, you definitely can. So I'm going to share my screen and go over a few things real quick. Hopefully this works. Okay. So number one thing I wanted to show you guys is, moving forward, anything that I share on this call, anything that I share as a class, is going to be on your Google Stream. Okay. And so make sure that you're keeping, like, kind of aware of that. So I'm going to try to share some artists with you guys on there. I'm going to share, if I show you a slideshow in here, it's going to go on there. So keep any announcements. Your classwork is all going to be here, but we aren't going to upload to here. We're still going to upload to Arsonia. But if you're kind of not sure, like, what your classwork is, when it's due, I need to update these due dates. But if you're not sure, then you can reference these assignments. I joined y'all's Google Classroom because I wanted to see what it looked like from your end. But I just uploaded this assignment yesterday. It's asking for your AMI progress. And so if you've just started drawing your picture, then upload a picture of that. If you are almost done, then upload a picture of that. If you're completely done, upload a picture of that. I just want to know where you're at, because it's hard for me as a teacher to know, are people even seeing the things that I'm putting out there? And so it's helpful for me to see your progress. And I'll do this later in a different way in the future, but just for this week, if you have a progress photo, upload it. So the way that you do that is, I would recommend, from a student's perspective, downloading, if you have a cell phone, a smartphone, downloading Google Drive on your smartphone. Because then what you can do is you can add photos to your Google Drive directly from your phone, and then you can add or create, and you can pull photos directly from your Google Drive. Another way to do that is to email it to yourself and save it on your Chromebook and then upload it through a file. Another way to do that is get the Google Classroom app, and you can upload a photo through there. But that's how you're going to do that this week. But beyond that, pretty much everything is going to be due on Arsonia. On Arsonia, I'm just going to use Steven. View projects. Oh wait, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Add new artwork. Life fail. Okay, so if I'm trying to add a new artwork and I just finished my surrealism assignment, I'm gonna look for surrealism. And it's gonna have the instructions that I put on your AMI work for this week. Add new artwork, you select an image, and you know the rest of it, okay? So make sure that you're doing that. If you have a question about that, feel free to email me. But let's stop my screen share here. The way the rest of this week is just going to go is on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to be available for questions for you guys. If you need anything, if you need help with an assignment, we can get on a call if you need help with something. If basically the rest of the week you're just going to work on your assignment and try to get it uploaded to Arsonia. Again, no sketches are due. That's the only thing I need from you guys. And then on Monday, I'm going to introduce a new thing, which I think is pretty fun. I'm really going to try to keep this class more creative problem solving focused. I know that you're doing a lot of like computer work and things that are, if I'm just going to be honest, if I were still a student, I would probably be like, oh gosh, this is more work than I normally do because I'm getting work in classes that I don't necessarily always have. And it's sometimes a lot of like bookwork and computer work, and I want this space to be a place where you can still create and have a break from that. And if unfortunately there's only going to be 20 minutes a week for you to create, and so I'm going to try to make that as meaningful as I possibly can. But the whole point of like what teachers are going to try to do is not stress you out. It's not to like get you with a bad grade. It's really just like still trying to keep in touch and provide you with education. And like from my perspective, like I just want you guys all to know that I'm here for you if you need anything, like school wise, but also like life and coronavirus wise, because it's a very stressful time. And we're all just kind of trying to get through this together. And just like y'all, like we're like, this is my first day and I'm here in my crazy office. But that is kind of parallel to art, right? Is that you just kind of have to keep trying things until something fits, until something works. And this is really good practice for you guys, like later on in life, in college, or if the world ever shuts down again, or kind of doing things a little bit more independently and figuring it out as you go. And it definitely is going to be that for me and for y'all. So we're just going to do the best we can. I'm going to give a little leeway, like on assignments, like the first few weeks, because we're just trying to figure it out. But beyond that, I think I'm kind of done with my spiel. Does anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself if you have a question. No questions? Okay. So